Fellow Sierra Leoneans, this now una favorite voice we don lost for over 2 months, Dr. Sylvia Blyden. And today, Monday, January 9th, 2023. This na the 97th broadcast to the people of this great nation. We go call am audio number 097. The last time we a broadcast was over 2 months ago, in November 2022. And I want to tell you now, thank you. We don't patiently dey wait me for the past 2 months. As time they go on, in the days, weeks, and months for come, una go understand why make I withdraw and keep silent for the last 2 months. But I don't resume my broadcast them back. And today I want to discuss a critical issue we get for do with wetin we constitution say about political parties wey for nominate presidential candidates. But before I reach yonder, I want to discuss about something we then call the European Union, the EU, European Union. The European Union na a big entity within Europe, made up of boku country them. And the European Union, the European country then they send money come for help the Sierra Leone government for run with budget. Free money, then they give you free money, budget, then call them budgetary support. And then also they do something else. Then can send for can observe when we dey conduct elections na Sierra Leone. Then can say what they call observer groups. Now, anytime we get elections, presidential, parliamentary, European Union, they send observer groups then come. Now, as I don't tell you gist now, the European Union, the EU, then are one of the biggest people the way they give you money. So whatever they can say to we, especially to we government, it can get weight, it can get influence, because now then they give you money for help with your budget and other side them. So in 2018, the last elections who conduct for president na this country, the European Union they can observe the election there. And when they observe the elections, then pull a report about the elections. Then pull a special report for the elections. And inside that report then talk certain things the way they call recommendations. Recommendations. Their recommendations and then are waiting and they see about how we they conduct with elections and the advice whether they give we for make the elections go be better than how we may they conduct them. So any time we conduct elections done, the European Union, the people that will come for can observe, then can write reports. So when the 2018 elections been done, the European Union they write a report, and that report I want can tell you a part of waiting in that report on page 49 of that report, page 49 of the European Union the report. Then spend time the advice we na Sierra Leone say we for revise the time frame between the time where they publish the list of candidates for presidential elections and the day for the elections in SSF. And they explain why. They say this, in fact, even before they reach that page 49, and the summary side, upside, and the report, they spend long time. Then they discuss, say, according to the laws in Sierra Leone, after nomination they done, where all other ones for be presidential candidate, then they go nominate them na the Electoral Commission. The European Union say they find out, say the laws of Sierra Leone say, when they done all that nomination day, the Electoral Commission for now go and publish the names of all the presidential candidates them inside the government gazette. And the European Union say they find out, say the laws of Sierra Leone say when the Electoral Commission don't write down all the names of all the presidential candidates, it don't carry and go to government printers. Then don't publish it at the gazette for the general public for see. The European Union say they find out, say the laws of Sierra Leone say from that moment where they publish it at the gazette, inside 7 days, anybody in Sierra Leone can petition any presidential candidate in name. And if I carry the petition, go to Supreme Court for talk why make you not want that presidential candidate day for be allowed for contest as president of Sierra Leone. I mean, for be allowed for contest for become president of Sierra Leone. Then the European Union said they find out back said, according to the laws, after that 7 days they pass, anybody who want petition any presidential candidate, the Supreme Court for take that petition day, and the Supreme Court for rule on the petition and give judgment inside 30 days. 30 days not for pass. The Supreme Court for give judgment. So the European Union said, then don't come find out now, so, the Supreme Court get up to 30 days. The Electoral Commission back, then get 7 days within which person for can care case go to Supreme Court after they don't publish it at the Gazette. And for every publish at the Gazette, it take time before it go reach when print time till they can go to government bookshop. It could take several days. So then they don't reach a time period now of when you look at everything, it might reach up to 2 months. 6 weeks to 2 months. You know, the European Union, they really analyze them fine. Then they show the time between the end of nomination of presidential candidate to the time where the Supreme Court go rule on any objections to any presidential candidate. Go take from 6 weeks to 2 months. So the European Union, on page 49 of the final report, then recommendation number 13, then say Sierra Leone will for change the time frame between the time where they publish the list of presidential candidates and the time for the actual elections. Then so for widen them, for make sure say more time there. The reason why they say this now because for the 2018 elections, the nomination and the publication of the presidential candidates the way they nominate, it happened at the end of January 2018. And then the elections na March 8, 2018. So the European Union can realize, say, now only 5 weeks, less than 6 weeks, 9 days, between the time when they done the nomination, till the Electoral Commission go come for publishing at the Gazette, till then go get the Gazette, till anybody go want for going to Supreme Court, as may happen for one particular presidential candidate. I think then two will happen to her. The European Union said this not good. Because their side said the same thing happened again 2012. The time between the term when nomination they done and the term where they for do all them process here if possible objects to nominations, gazette, the time too short. So the European Union in their recommendation number 13 on page 49 of their report, they say they for open up this time. Well, now my people then will come to the interesting aspect. Now, would that get the power for open up this time? Well, the European Union in say Parliament for don't do am. But my people, what in Parliament do, they not do am more. They left them still open. Say let the Chief Electoral Commissioner in be the one for can decide now the time frame. Now listen, all this a very critical point at the country. So instead of Parliament, they enact according to what the European Union may advise them. Say make them widen the time frame so it go wide enough between nomination day and election day. Like for example, Nigeria, they can don't nominate several months before the actual elections. So European Union want Parliament for enact the law. We go show the amount of months that we go long between nomination of the presidential candidate and the actual elections. Now that the European Union recommend. But Parliament not do that. Before that, what in Parliament do, they hand over the power to the Chief Electoral Commissioner for him for change the time frame how him feel like, how him want. So many people them, if we go look the act where Parliament pass 10 days here for elections, then in the Public Elections Act of 2022, we don't turn to law now, where the president don't sign them, he don't assent to them, they don't gazette them, they don't publish them now in law. If we now go look section 44, section 44.3a, I repeat, section 44.3a of the act where Parliament just passed, the Public Elections Act. Instead of them put a widened time frame between the date for nomination and the date for elections, when at that the European Union recommend, what in Parliament do, they still keep them. Just like how Anes by Kuroma and Tijan Kaba been keep them. Then give the power to the Chief Electoral Commissioner for use in discretion how him feel for decide on nomination day. So many people them, the European Union don't advise we. Then our biggest donors, whatever they can tell we, that thing will they take serious because they give money for budget. And they help and boku things them. So they don't tell we, say the time frame where we they use before 6 weeks, 5 weeks between nomination and election day, they say it's too tight. So the European Union don't advise we say for widen them. Then now we don't left that widening there at the discretion of the Chief Electoral Commissioner. What in this mean, me people them? We did 2023 now. The European Union don't tell we say the time frame between nomination and election for widen them. We elections na June 24. So if we for widen them beyond 6 weeks, it would be widened to sometime in April, because this is the advice that was given. Or at a play like just argument here, the Electoral Commission herself can decide, say, well, 2 months not enough. Since Parliament don't give me discretion, I can announce nomination for March. Yes, it is possible, my people. Because the Chief Electoral Commissioner, I go say, well, that's what they happen in Nigeria and other countries, then they get long time. And European Union self don't advise we. So myself, I don't decide, say, nomination day now go be 3 months before election day. Me people them, bottom line, the Chief Electoral Commissioner now and everything day as to when it will announce for nomination of the presidential candidate. Now, when I keep that in mind, as I can move now to the message I get for APC, NGC, more APC and NGC. You see, we get beaucoup political party there in a salon. But with constitution, we get law inside the constitution say the party is only considered functional if the party they follow principles of democracy in the internal organization of that party there. So any political party will not follow principles of democracy in how it operates inside in party. That party they not a registered and functional party. It will be registered but not functional under the Sierra Leone Constitution. That's what the Constitution say under Section 35. Now, all the years there, really, we not they obey that Section 35 there, where they say the internal organization of political parties for conform to democratic principles. And one of the key democratic principles, as defined by the United Nations and all these international covenants on democracy, is for regular elections of executives within any structure that is democratic. So for a political party to be considered democratic, if for the regular elections by the people who belong to that party there, otherwise it's a failure of democratic principles. Now, then there's me people, the PPRC, when are they in charge of political parties in this country. I don't see them they write letters to all them small party them. Some party they will call briefcase party, some party what they call one man show party or one woman show party. Basically, this is a political party where it not get membership, it not even get office system around the country. It not they meet, it not they call meetings. It they no more for make it call himself party where election ten reach. It send presidential candidate or candidates them for contest. It not functioning as a democratic political party. So then this year, last month, PPRC begin write to all the party them. They ask them, say, Based on democratic principles, political parties belong to their members. How una elections of una executives, as is mandatory in a democratic organization. So when you look all the letter away PPRC they write, it points towards it sound like say PPRC, it sound like say, I not accuse them more, I say it sound like say PPRC finally want for begin obey waiting the constitution say that no political party not for be considered functional if the internal organization of the party not democratic. If the party not they get executives regularly elected, then that party they not functional. So many people them, una all go agree with me say, the vast majority of Sierra Leone political parties, they do not have executives at all levels. They have not been conducting elections. And the PPRC records, they show say, they don't function because they are not conducting elections. If they don't conduct their lower level, ward level, constituency levels, then they are not functional political parties. And if they're not functional under Section 35 of the Sierra Leone Constitution, the PPRC get the right for say they cannot be allowed for contest presidential elections. Because you see, my people, them presidential elections now only for candidates them will come out from registered political parties. No independent candidate not the able contest for presidency inside Sierra Leone. No independent candidate. Unless na a functional political party send you as the sponsored candidate for be nominated, you cannot contest for president na Sierra Leone. And I may don't explain the reason why the last time to honor. It's simple. The presidency is so powerful that you don't want for go put somebody there where you not get party where they able control them. You not get party where they afraid say, hey, if I not do this, my party members then go feel so. I may don't explain that in one of my earlier audios. So the law is the law. You cannot contest elections as an independent candidate. You have to be nominated by a political party. Because they want to make sure that a functional party will get members them all over the country. And then members they are with all over the country. If you camp and come, they're able to control you, the president, make you do it incorrect. Because the president has tremendous powers. And if you left in one grain for day under, a not get party where they able to control them, it would become super dictatorial. So that is the reason why now only functional political parties can put forward presidential candidates. Now when people them, in terms of functional political parties, now only the NGC, the APC, and the SLPP. The C4C is functional, but now inside Kono. Outside of Kono, they don't have functional structures. So the NGC and the APC, now the two parties them, will right now can knock them chest, and as sure we say they get presidential candidates where they can send forward, because we know say then they all over Sierra Leone, and they would be able for elect the executives them and be a functional democratic party. Only the APC and the NGC. Now my message today to the APC and the NGC is simple. If una not put forward presidential candidates for meet up whatever could be the nomination date where the Chief Electoral Commissioner gets for choose at his own discretion how him feel. The nomination date where the Chief Electoral Commissioner get for announce based on the advice from the European Union, say it will be much wider than wetin we don't use forget that 6 weeks, 5 weeks difference between nomination day and election day. The Chief Electoral Commissioner now in one grand parliament don't give the discretion for decide on a nomination day. So if the Chief Electoral Commissioner announce a nomination date and the NGC and the APC una act careless, so till that nomination date they reach, una not don sort out una elections of una executives on that nomination date day, wetin get for happen? Because the other political parties, based on the letters then where the PPRC don't begin write, it appear like say the PPRC determined for enforce section 35, where means say any political party that shall not have executives, meaning the political party, the internal organization not democratic, PPRC not get for recognize them as a functional party. They might be registered, but PPRC will say you are not functional, and so you cannot nominate a presidential candidate. And that's what the Constitution say. They would not be able to nominate a presidential candidate. But una the APC, una the NGC, you have the potential for nominate presidential candidate. And if una delay, una continue this internal fight, where una depa now inside NGC about una national executives, and where una depa now una the APC, and that's not a special audio what I can do for the one that inside the APC, where they deliberately take actions for slow down and frustrate the members of the APC for become so frustrated. I know now, and future audio, I have to do further analysis about why una they do, waiting una they do to the APC. But tonight, I they raise the alarms. I they raise the loud alarm that if the APC and the NGC, because now then are the two parties them, we get the potential for get executives across Sierra Leone within the time before nomination date. Now the Chief Electoral Commissioner, based on the advice from the European Union, it definitely not going to do a short nomination date. It will give a nomination date way long enough between nomination day and election day, which is June 24. So he might give a nomination date as early as March. Oh yes, he get the powers. That's what Parliament don't do. So NGC and APC, you need for wake up fast. Una need for wake up fast. Otherwise, and additionally round up the message with tonight. If the NGC and the APC not sort out the internal democratic organization of them party, it means to say now one great political party will get the constitutional right for nominate a presidential candidate. And what did the law say about that? Me people them now the shocking news that they can give on so. The law say if now one great political party nominate a presidential candidate under the law, then there should be no presidential elections. That presidential candidate there Now, in one green they nominate, automatically, the person are the next president of Sierra Leone when the sitting president in tenure done. So, if the person when a president right now, President Julius Maada Bio, in party SLPP, then don't do all what they supposed for do, for make sure say the internal organization of them party is democratic as per section 35 of the Sierra Leone Constitution. So the SLPP right now, elect them say nomination at tomorrow. They not get one problem, then get candidate. Elect them say nomination at tomorrow, the SLPP get candidate. But una, with the inside APC and inside NGC, if una not straighten up fast, now only the SLPP go get candidate. And the law say, if that happens, there should be no presidential elections. So it means to say, me people them, if the Chief Electoral Commissioner, based on the advice from the European Union, he announced an early nomination day, and the SLPP, now they meet up on time for don't finish the internal organization of them party, for nominate Julius Maada Bio, His Excellency, as the presidential candidate. It means to say, no presidential elections not been in this country this year. Because it means say President Julius Maada Bio automatically, when in tenure done August, April 4, because in tenure, in 5-year tenure, they done April 4. It means to say automatically when in tenure done April 4, if no other presidential candidates not there, then it go unopposed. And if he go unopposed, then there should be no presidential elections in the Republic of Sierra Leone. It means to say June 24, 2023, there will be no presidential elections in Sierra Leone. Because the law say, if now one green person, now he meet up the nomination day, where in political party is well organized. If the other political party they not organize for choose them presidential candidate, then automatically there should be no presidential elections. The one green presidential candidate is automatically declared duly elected. That's so the law say. Section 48 of the Public Elections Act of 2022 is very clear. If now one green party able nominate a presidential candidate, there shall be no elections, no need for elections. That presidential candidate is automatically the president for the next 5 years. So if the APC continue for fet themselves, if the APC, and I get the future audios they were going to do about the APC, if the APC continues this internal frustration of their members, and if the NGC self then take a decision that they not put forward the presidential candidate, or that they not solve that the national executive wahala where they get pan themselves right now, and the Chief Electoral Commissioner, under the powers where Parliament don't get, he announced a date way long enough from the elections, and no other political party not organized, then President Julius Maada Bio continues as the president of Sierra Leone until 2028, non-stop. Non-stop, no presidential elections. This is what the law says. So, una with the APC, una with the NGC, the ball they now on a court. On that note there, I will end tonight's broadcast, as I can always do, with the tune of the national anthem. And the reason why I can play the tune of the national anthem is because I can want where the tune they play make una dey reflect on the words they work in the sing. Where they sing about the land that we love, our Sierra Leone. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, una help me for talk to the APC and the NGC. Say make them straighten up them political parties, because I not see the other political parties go able for organize themselves on time for meet-up nomination day, especially in light of the European Union recommendation number 13. On that note today, let's round up now with the national anthem.